I've been gaming since I was a teenager. It's my escape, my way to shut out the world. Headphones on, lights off, just me and the screen. I've never been into multiplayer games. I don't have the patience for screaming kids or toxic teammates. Single player is my thing. Deep stories, quiet worlds where I can lose myself. A few weeks ago, I was cleaning out my desk, looking for a USB drive with some old college projects, when I found one I didn't recognize. It was unmarked, just a scratched up black stick I must have picked up somewhere. I plugged it in, and among the random files, there was a game, Shadewalker87.exe. I didn't remember downloading it, but I figured it was something I'd grabbed from a freeware site years ago and forgotten. I'm careful with random files, so I scanned it, clean, no viruses, and decided to give it a try. The game was a retro-style adventure, 2D pixel art, like those old point-and-click mysteries from the 90s. You play as a detective in a small, foggy town, investigating a missing person case. The graphics were basic, blocky sprites, muted grays and greens, but the atmosphere was solid, with a looping synth soundtrack that felt lonely, almost mournful. There was no intro, no tutorial, just a starting screen with your character in a pixelated forest, a flashlight in hand, and a text prompt. Find the truth. I moved around, exploring the map, picking up clues like a torn letter or a rusted key. It was simple, but I got hooked fast. I played for a couple of hours that first night, found a cabin on the map, went inside, and the game auto-saved. I shut my laptop down and went to bed, the synth music still humming in my head. The next night, I opened the game again, and my save loaded, right inside the cabin. But something was off. In the corner of the screen, there was another sprite. It looked like my character, same gray coat, same flashlight, but it was standing still, facing me, its pixelated eyes just black dots. I moved my character, and the other sprite moved too, always keeping the same distance, always facing me. I stopped. It stopped. I tried interacting with it, but nothing happened. No dialogue, no prompt. I figured it was a glitch, maybe a rendering error in the game's code, and ignored it. But I couldn't shake the feeling it was watching me. Those black dots locked on my character, no matter where I went. Every time I played after that, the sprite was there. I'd load my save, and it'd be waiting, at the edge of the forest, in the shadow of a broken bridge, just outside the glow of my campfire checkpoints. It never attacked, never made a sound, just followed. Always at the same distance, always staring. I checked the game's files, thinking it might be a hidden NPC, but there was nothing. No character data, no AI routines, just the basic assets for my detective and the environment. I looked up Shadewalker87.exe online. Nothing. No trace of the game, no developer, not even a mention on some obscure subreddit. It was like it didn't exist outside my laptop. I should have deleted it then, but I was too curious. The story was getting good, and I wanted to see where it went. A week in, things got weirder. I was playing late, maybe 1 a.m., when I noticed the sprite was closer than usual. Normally, it stayed at the edge of the screen, but now it was only a few pixels away, its flashlight beam overlapping mine, casting a double shadow on the pixelated ground. I stopped moving, and it stopped too, but then the screen flickered, and a text prompt appeared. "You're not alone." My stomach dropped. This game didn't have dialogue. I'd checked the files. I hit escape, quit the game, and sat there, staring at my desktop. My room was silent, but I felt watched. I laughed it off, told myself it was just a creepy Easter egg, but I didn't play again that night. I couldn't stay away for long though. The game had its hooks in me. The next night, I loaded it up, and the sprite was even closer, right behind my character, its sprite overlapping mine so I could barely see my own. I moved, and it moved with me, step for step, like a shadow that wouldn't let go. The text prompts started coming more often. I'm here. Don't look back. You can't leave. Every time, the screen would flicker, and the synth music would distort, slowing down until it was just a low, droning hum that vibrated in my chest. I tried to uninstall the game, but every time I deleted the file, it'd reappear on my desktop the next day. Same name, same size, like I'd never touched it. I started thinking someone was messing with me. Maybe a friend had slipped the game onto my USB as a prank, or maybe I'd been hacked somehow. I changed my passwords, ran every antivirus I could find, nothing. But the more I played, the worse it got. The sprite started leaving things, pixelated footprints trailing behind my character, or items I hadn't picked up, like a knife or a broken watch placed in my path. One night, I found a new text prompt. Look behind you. I froze. Not in the game, in my room. I turned, my chair creaking, but there was nothing, just my closed door, the hum of my laptop, the dark outside my window. My reflection in the glass caught my eye, and for a second, I thought I saw something. A shadow, too tall, standing just behind me. I blinked, and it was gone. I stopped playing for a few days, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. The sprite, the messages, the way it moved. It felt too real, too deliberate. I started noticing things outside the game. I'd be walking home from work, and I'd hear footsteps behind me, soft, steady, keeping pace. I'd turn, and the street would be empty, but I'd feel it, that same watched feeling from the game. I'd see shadows at the edge of my vision, too tall, too still, always gone when I looked straight on. My laptop started acting up too, turning on by itself, the Shadewalker87.exe file open, the sprite waiting on the screen, closer every time. I'd hear the game's music, that droning hum, even when my laptop was off, like it was coming from my room, from the walls. I decided to dig deeper. I posted on a few gaming forums, asking if anyone had heard of Shadewalker87.exe. No one had, but one user messaged me privately. They said they'd seen a similar game years ago. Same retro style, same detective premise, but it'd been taken down after someone claimed it was cursed, said it drove people paranoid, made them see things. They told me to delete it, wipe my drive, and never touch it again. I laughed it off, but their words stuck with me. I started wondering if I was losing it, if the late nights and stress were getting to me. I hadn't been sleeping much, and I'd been skipping meals, too focused on the game to care. I went back to playing, determined to prove it was just a game. But the sprite, it was everywhere now. I'd load a save, and it'd be right there, inches from my character, its black dot eyes locked on me. The text prompts got worse. I know where you are. You can't hide from me. I'm outside. That last one made my blood run cold. I got up, checked my windows. Nothing. Just the empty street below, the streetlights buzzing. But when I sat back down, the game had changed. My character was standing in a new area, a pixelated version of my street, the same streetlights, the same cracked sidewalk I walked every day. The sprite was there, under a lamp, its flashlight beam pointed right at me. I quit the game, unplugged my laptop, and sat there, shaking. I didn't sleep that night. I kept hearing things, footsteps outside my door, a faint tap on my window, the hum of that synth music, low and steady, like a heartbeat. The next day, I found something outside my apartment, a broken watch, just like the one from the game, lying on the welcome mat. I hadn't ordered it, hadn't seen anyone drop it off. I threw it in the trash, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. That night, my laptop turned on again, the game running, the sprite now standing in a pixelated version of my apartment, my couch, my desk, my door, all in blocky 2D. The text prompt read, "I'm inside." I lost it. I grabbed a hammer, smashed my laptop to pieces, screen, keyboard, everything. I threw it in a dumpster down the street, shards of glass cutting my hands as I ran back inside. I thought that'd be the end of it, but it wasn't. I kept hearing the footsteps, outside my door, down the hall, circling my building. I'd see the shadow, always at the edge of my vision, always gone when I looked. I bought a new laptop, set it up with a fresh install, but the file was there. Shadewalker87.exe sitting on the desktop, waiting. I deleted it, reformatted the drive, but it kept coming back, every time, like it was part of the system now. I started seeing more things. I'd find footprints in the dust on my floor, too small to be mine, leading from my desk to my bed. I'd hear whispers at night, faint and garbled, like someone speaking through a broken radio, saying my name over and over. I'd wake up to my new laptop on, the game running, the sprite standing in the pixelated version of my room, closer each time, its black dot eyes staring. Last night, I heard a tap at my door, soft, rhythmic, like the footsteps in the game. I didn't open it, didn't move, just sat there, frozen, until the sun came up. When I checked, there was a note slipped under the door, written in shaky handwriting. I see you. I don't know what's real anymore. I haven't slept in days, haven't eaten. I can't stop looking over my shoulder, waiting for the shadow, the steps, the hum. I don't know if I'm losing my mind, if the game broke something in me, or if someone's out there, watching, following, playing with me. I've moved to a new apartment, changed my number, deleted every account I had, but I still hear it. The hum, the steps, the whisper of my name. I still see the file on every device I touch, waiting. If you ever find a game called Shadewalker87.exe, don't open it. Don't even look at it. Because once it starts, it doesn't stop. And I don't think it ever will. That's where that story ends. A game, a screen, and a player that wouldn't let go. It's the kind of thing that makes you wonder what's really watching when you think you're alone. But while I was still shaken by that one, another tale crossed my path, and this time, it's not digital. It's real, raw, and far too close. A woman, a dark street, and something following just out of sight. Here's the next one. I've always been a night person. There's something about the quiet, the way the city feels when everyone else is asleep. I work late shifts at a diner downtown, the kind of place that stays open for truckers and insomniacs. I usually get off around 1 a.m., and the walk home is about 20 minutes through empty streets. I've done it 1,000 times. Headphones in, streetlights buzzing overhead, my shadow stretching long behind me. I never felt unsafe. Not until last month. It started on a Tuesday. It had been a slow night at the diner, and I was tired, my feet aching from standing for hours. I locked up, put on my playlist, and started walking. The air was cold, the kind of late fall chill that bites at your fingertips, and a light fog had settled over the streets, blurring the edges of everything. I was maybe 5 minutes from the diner, cutting through a quiet residential street, when I heard it. A step, heavy and deliberate, behind me. I stopped, pulled one earbud out, and listened. Nothing. Just the hum of the streetlights and the distant bark of a dog. I figured it was an echo, my own steps bouncing off the buildings, and kept going. But it came again. A single, sharp step, perfectly in time with mine. I stopped again, turned around. The street was empty, the fog thicker now, swallowing the light from the lamps. I called out, my voice small in the quiet, asking if anyone was there. No answer. I started walking faster, my heart picking up, and the steps matched me, step for step, always a few feet behind. I spun around, my breath fogging in the air, but there was nothing. Just the empty street, the fog, and the shadows. I told myself I was imagining it, that I was just tired, and turned my music up louder. The steps didn't stop. Every night after that, they were there. I'd leave the diner, start my walk, and a few minutes in, I'd hear them, always the same, heavy and deliberate, like someone wearing boots, keeping pace just out of sight. I'd stop, they'd stop. I'd run, they'd run. I tried different routes, weaving through alleys, doubling back, even taking the long way along the main road where the streetlights were brighter. It didn't matter. The steps were always there, always behind me, always just close enough to hear, but too far to see. I started taking my earbuds out completely, keeping my head on a swivel. I'd catch glimpses of something, a shadow at the edge of a building, too tall to be mine, or a flicker of movement in the fog, gone when I looked straight on. One night, I heard a new sound, a low, rasping breath, like someone exhaling through a clenched jaw, right behind me. I whipped around, my phone's flashlight shaking in my hand, but the street was empty. The fog was so thick I could barely see 10 feet, but I swear I saw something. A shape, tall and thin, standing just beyond the light, its head tilted like it was listening. I ran the rest of the way home, my keys clutched like a weapon, and didn't look back. I stopped walking after that. I'd take a cab, even though I couldn't really afford it, or I'd beg a coworker to drive me. But the diner's small, and most nights, I'm the last one out. I couldn't always get a ride, and the cabs don't always come that late. Last week, I had no choice. I had to walk. I waited until the fog cleared, the streets sharp under the streetlights, and started out, my phone in one hand, a can of pepper spray in the other. I didn't hear the steps at first, and I let myself hope it was over. I was wrong. Halfway home, I heard it. Not a step, but a scrape, like something dragging on the pavement. I turned, and there it was, at the end of the street, under a streetlight. It was tall, too tall, its limbs too long, its head bent at an angle that made my stomach lurch. It was wearing a coat, tattered and black, and its face. I couldn't see its face, just a void where it should have been, like the light couldn't touch it. It didn't move, just stood there, but the scraping came again, and I saw its hand, long bony fingers dragging on the ground, leaving faint marks in the frost. I ran. I didn't stop, didn't look back, just ran until I was at my door, fumbling with my keys, my hands shaking so bad I dropped them twice. I got inside, locked the door, and sank to the floor, gasping. I heard it then, a single heavy step right outside my door, followed by that rasping breath, slow and deliberate, like it was savoring the air. I stayed there, frozen, until the sun came up. It didn't try to get in, didn't knock, just stood there. I know it did, because when I opened the door in the morning, there were scratches on the wood, long and deep, like it had been marking its place. It's still following me. I've quit the diner, started working days at a coffee shop closer to home, but it doesn't matter. I hear the steps at night, even when I'm inside, soft, steady, circling my building. I see the shadow sometimes, in the alley across the street, always at the edge of the light, always watching. Last night I found scratches on my window, 3 floors up, and a faint handprint, too big to be human, smudged in the frost. I don't know what it is, don't know why it chose me, but it's not stopping. I can feel it even now, waiting for me to step outside. If you ever hear steps behind you at night, don't turn around. Don't give it a reason to get closer.